as the nursery rhyme goes, a sailor went to CCC to see what he could CCC. But all that he could CCC was the bottom of the deep blue CCC. Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to Pokemon Emerald, where we are exploring the sea. There is a lot of sea. There sure is a lot of ocean. It is naturally vast. Incredible in its vastness, you might say. It is ultimately a globe-encompassing vastness. I know there was a trainer down there, I'm just making sure there aren't any more up there. A vastness that stretches beyond imagination, beyond horizons, spanning leagues and leagues and vast distances and leaving you wondering, where on earth am I going? This is the part of the game where you need at least electric or grass moves, because the last third of the game is water. In one way or another, especially in Emerald, it's water. We have a whole lot of water routes. We have the search for Kyogre and Team Aqua again. We have, after all that, a battle at a water-type gym, and then you face the champion who is a water-type specialist. And it sort of helps hammer home that the water type has it easy. Sorry? Like, you rarely have to worry about things with a good water type on your team, especially if you've got something like Chinchou, which can get Volt Absorb, or as a hidden ability, I believe it gets Water Absorb. But the water type just has so much going for it. This entire sea route is just like, it's almost sort of some sort of skill check. Have you got these abilities? Otherwise you are going to be bored out of your skull and possibly struggling through things. There's nothing. Why? This is the perfect spot for a hidden item. Why? Oh, I'm annoyed. Alright, so we can break up the rest of the monotony with a house. So, this person who lives out alone on the sea, diving treasure hunter, the awesome dude who makes deep sea dives to gather treasures resting at the bottom. Rightio, shards, and we get red shard Firestone, yellow shard Thunderstone, blue shard Waterstone, green shard Leaf Stone. So that is the easiest way to find these. Bit of a pain in the butt. There's a reasonable amount of Pokemon that evolve via Evolution Stone. Hello person, battle with me. Not before I put another repel on. I mean, I'm not going to run into wild Pokemon in the middle of the battle, but it's the principle of the thing. It kind of sucks that Evolution Stones can be so awkward to find in later games and often so limited. I mean, it was sort of easy, then it really dropped away. Then it gets a little easier. And it just sort of chops and changes. Though it's sort of settled as being fairly easy these days. But I don't know why they had such a big change. Because in the first games, the Moonstone was fairly rare for some reason. But you could easily buy Thunderstones, Firestones, Leaf Stones, and Water Stones. Like, I believe there were 2 Pokemon, Pikachu and Eevee, that could evolve via Thunderstone. There were 3 Pokemon that evolved via Firestone, Vulpix, Growlithe, and Eevee again. Then Waterstone, you had Staryu. You actually had quite a few for the Waterstone. You had Staryu, you had Shelder, you had Poliwhirl, you had Eevee again, and I think that might have been it, 4. And Leafstone was Bellsprout, well, Weepinbell, Oddish, Gloom, sorry. And, was that it? Yeah. And yet you couldn't buy the Moonstone, which had the equal most amount of Pokemon evolving with it. Like, why? And then don't get me started on how you were supposed to get the Sunstone in Generation 2. The jank. The unbelievable jank that was the judging criteria for the bug catching contest. Professor Oak from Pokemon Snap would look on approvingly with the stupidity and awkwardness. You'd usually wind up losing to Cool Trainer Nick no matter how well you did. You just had to hope that the competition had an off day. But they could still cheat and wind up kicking your ass when because they caught a Caterpie. Oh well, this gets us down to Route 126, which is actually a pretty good location. We get some trainer battles, but we do want to head down south, further south anyway. I'm going to wind up using all these repels by the time I'm done, I bet you. So if we head down here, we will be able to get onto Route 126, which is around Sootopolis City. It's a gigantic volcano that's sort of come up from beneath the sea. The whole principle of Sootopolis is pretty much inspired by Santorini in Greece. Why do these people only have one Pokemon each? Like, you can actually see that in the architectural inspiration. You compare Sootopolis to Santorini and you'll see what I mean. I mean, we are well past the point of pocket sand, I believe. But there could be other moves. Slowly but surely, we level up our teams. Tantalizer might be a bit challenging. Because I don't really have a good dark type, but I do have Zunama, who is actually strong against 3 out of their 4 Pokemon, because they added Claydol and Xatu to their list. So I've got an advantage there, and Zunama not hitting any of my allies with Surf. Oh no. Of course you need to try harder, as I've lamented so many times. These people all suck. They are all bunglers and blunderers and useless as trainers. I mean, honestly. I wonder what sort of rock it actually is. Well, I presume it's something volcanic, so probably igneous. But I don't know if there are actual geological specifics. I presume this is... Which island of Japan is this based on, anyway? So I know that Kanto is based on the actual Kanto prefecture, and Johto is the neighbouring area. But I'm not sure which islands Sinnoh and Hoenn are based on. Because Kalos is supposed to be based on various parts of France. You have Unova, I think, is based around the broader New York City area. I think. Then you've got Alola, which is the Hawaiian Islands. Galar is sort of an inverted Great Britain. I think the Isle of Armor itself might be Ireland. And the Crown Tundra, I think, is Scotland, which... Well, it's very fitting, because as Billy Connolly put it, there are 2 seasons in Scotland, June and winter. And then we've got Paldea looking very much like Spain, just surrounded by big rocks. Because you can't really go out of the area. Now, we will get to go around here with Dive eventually. I just have to look around and see what sort of trainers we have. We need to beat the Moss Deep Gym to actually wind up getting the ability to use Dive outside of battle. Which we will do. We will eventually get there. You are not more cut than a black belt. The male... Oh, wait, he's actually a triathlete. So he's probably got some decent musculature, because I'm thinking the male swimmers look a bit weedy. Ah, Love Disc. Obviously. Somewhat ironically, because it's so useful for farming hard scales, but otherwise it is just useless. Why they didn't make Love Disc evolve into Alomomola and actually give Love Disc a new outlook on life is beyond me. It's just forever condemned to be mediocre, remembered as something you could farm for heart scales and that's it. I mean, when I did a Nuzlocke challenge, you know how I wound up succeeding against Wallace? Spamming Swords Dance against his Love Disc with my Ninjask and just wiping out the rest of his team while I got faster and faster. I mean, I even took out his Milotic in one shot, I think. Oh dear. Maybe I should have brought in Joelle and used Thief. Okay, so that gives me an idea. Okay, so... Pokemon... Joelle. Take out Staryu. Yeah, fun as it is, I do think I'm saving the Captain Falcon voice clips for serious battles because it got a little bit fiddly if I went overboard and tried to edit everything in. Maybe if I just edited in the show me your moves every time it came into battle. Kind of like the Screaming Quagsire. Something simple like that might have been fine. Alrighty, what do we got? Is it hiding anything? I mean, it's not very strong, so... Water gun? Really? Not even Water Pulse? No, it does not have anything. So it's not holding a heart scale, I can't steal anything from it. It was worth a shot. I'm allowed to be curious, I mean... It's nice when they do have trainers holding items because it changes things around, makes it a little bit more worthwhile, and gives you a reason to use Thief. Because otherwise you need a Pokemon with Frisk to try and find rare items on various Pokemon. Or the Dex Nav. The fact that, well, in fairness, you could probably break the game wide open with the fact that you could just easily search out Pokemon with really good items was just so powerful. Like, you could easily find lucky eggs on Wild Pelipper. No more worrying about Chansey. I mean, the experience share is already powerful enough as is if you keep it on. But then you can just shatter any difficulty into tiny whimpering pieces by using the Dex Nav. It was a reward for effort, in a sense. Okay, yeah. That's good. I don't really have any physical attack to speak of. Still a one-shot though, because we've got such good special attack. Oh well done, Truffle. So many double battles. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. The frustrations of the World Asylum, I'm enjoying this because it's just a nice opportunity to use some different Pokemon. The question, of course, has been posed, why do we need these quote-unquote filler Pokemon? Why don't they just focus on all the ones that are competitively optimized, blah blah blah? Why are there Pokemon with crappy stats? And you know why? Because that's really how the series does its difficulty settings. Yeah, I know it's a bit fiddly, but isn't it cool that you can actually just take a different Pokemon somewhere along the way and go, yeah, This thing isn't the strongest. There are better Pokemon in terms of base stats than this Pokemon. But you know what? I'm using it because I want to challenge myself. I want to test my skills. And you get a much more rewarding experience out of it rather than just using all the powerhouses and things like that. Like, honestly, what is going to be the point of just using the strongest Pokemon all the time? You will breeze through the game. Of course it will wind up seeming like it's utterly boring. But if you do a run where you use pretty much all unevolved Pokemon, or you wind up using Pokemon with base stat totals under certain thresholds, you can customize the difficulty of Pokemon so much. It's so open-ended. And that really is the fun of it. So yeah, why not just take a bit of time to try and use silly Pokemon and make them effective? Have a real blast with it. So we might be able to find some trainers up around Moss Deep, but I don't want to go to Moss Deep just yet. I suppose I can poke my head in and see exactly what we're dealing with. So here is Moss Deep, but I'd need to sneak into Shoal Cave. Okay, well I probably should visit the Pokemon Center and heal the team. Okay, so let's sneak in here and see what we've got. Is it low tide? Yes! So talk to this guy and he will... We have to bring back 4 Shoal Salt and 4 Shoal Shells. And that's how you get the Shell Bell. So, I'm kind of interested because we can actually find certain Pokemon in here. The pain. Well, it's a cave in the Pokemon world, alright. I'm not sure what the criteria are, or even where I'm going, but I know you can find Spheal in here. Speaking of Spheal. So, let's see what we get. Probably want to try using Ice Beam, because that's going to do minimal damage. Oh yeah, I think it's naturally got... I think it naturally winds up with thick fat. Ultra Ball. Now that I've caught Spheal, we seem to have a bit of a trend of round Pokemon. Nothing to worry about, I caught it. Alrighty. We have Spheal, the Clap Pokemon. Put aside your rude jokes, Spheal is a very adorable Pokemon that will frequently play on that cuteness, using it to the best of its ability. Spheal has been known to con people out of food, clothing, treats, even large sums of money, which end up in Swiss bank accounts. So while Spheal's clapping and its rolling may wind up looking very, very cute, don't be fooled. These are actually criminal masterminds which will bilk you out of everything. If you get half the chance, please resist its cuteness. Alrighty, so we've got Spheal. And now I can put on a Repel, and we can dive deeper, metaphorically, into this cave. So that's your Shoal Shell up there. Down there is the salt, which you can only get when it's low tide. Like that. It respawns each day. And an Ice Heal, that's good. Alrighty, slowly but surely. I think I I don't really know where I'm going. It's always a long time since I wind up coming through here. Because usually... Oh, I need to get down there, I think. Usually I wind up in a situation, sort of when I'm playing this, where the batteries have run dry. Wait, person. Oh, okay. So focus band. Flat 10% chance of preventing us getting knocked out. Oh, do I need strength? Ooh. Let's see. Good thing I did teach Captain Toad strength. If we go down here. Yes, this is what we're looking for. The icy section. This is the only spot in the entire game where you can find Snorunt. Am I doing this right? Probably not. I think I have to go down, across, and then up. I think the only thing we get out of this is a never melt ice. So if we go here, we get... Oh yeah, we get the TM for hail as well as never melt ice. So eventually the repel will run out. And we'll be able to wind up encountering Snorunt. Now I think I have to go this way, then this way. Then we get hail. Which was... I think it was introduced this generation. Sort of designed to give ice types their own weather, like Sandstorm. But problem is, it's not really that beneficial. It's only much, much, much later on, like when we actually got to Generation 9, that something useful would happen. Because hail was just sort of more damaging, but also slightly worse Sandstorm. In some senses, because ice types really weren't as effective. I suppose neither were rock types. But Sandstorm at least got buffed to increase the special defense of rock types by 50% when it was active. In Generation 4, I think it was, which had the side effect of making Tyranitar an absolute fortress. So, eventually they replaced hail, which just sort of did damage over time to any non-ice type, but wasn't really that helpful. They replaced it with with snow as a weather condition, which I believe actually did set things up so that you could just... I think it was just a straight 50% defense buff to ice types, but it didn't do damage over time. Or maybe it doubles the defense, I'm not sure. Alright. Protect. Haunts me even here. Alrighty, that's good. And it bit me. Wrong thing. Not going to worry about putting a status condition on it because we should be able to catch this. Now, I might get some more experience into the team before... I'll go to the Pokemon Center, but I'll battle the trainers up here as well. We have caught Snorunt, the Snow Hat Pokemon. The little ponchos made by Snorunt are said to be very comfortable, but they don't really fit people that easily. That said, SnowRunt are actually very good at weaving winter clothing and will happily make them for people because they don't want anybody stealing those little poncho things they wear. If you actually wind up trying and taking one of those ponchos off a SnowRunt, it will be very, very painful and it will probably die long before it freezes to death because are you actually ripping its skin off? Who knows? Alrighty, there we go. So let's make our way out of here. I've done everything I need to do. The Shell Bell restores HP equal to 1/8 of the damage you deal. So it's sort of useful, but sort of isn't at the same time, depending on what you're facing. It might have some mileage in competitive battling somewhere along the way, but I genuinely do believe that the leftovers will always be preferable. Alrighty. Out we go, this way. So what's up here? Nothing. Oh, this is where we were earlier. Alrighty, well, we can head out for now. Fortunately, we don't have much to do. We might be able to wind up finding certain things when the tide is actually in. And we can battle some trainers. Probably best to wind up battling all the trainers maybe in the next episode, I'd say. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.